how many tons of sugar does it look as though we'll produce this year? And they say to me, Prime Minister, you'll be very lucky if you make 10,000 tons. So from 204,000 tons in 1967, Barbados is now struggling to produce 10,000 tons of sugar. And that should tell you something about the great transformation that has taken place in Barbados at the economic level. We're no longer a monocrop sugar economy. The spectacle of men and women walking barefooted to the plantation with crocus bags tied around their waists, to cut canes and to, in the hard time, just work a farm. Those days have receded in Barbados. And this is not another way of saying that there was anything fundamentally wrong with that kind of work, because there is dignity in human labor. But a great economic transformation has taken place in Barbados, and our economy is now being led by tourism. Our largest source market for tourists is Britain. Our second largest source market for tourism is the United States of America. Our third largest source market for tourism is now Canada. And our fourth largest source market for tourism is the Caribbean, the CARICOM region. Of course, there are fluctuations in these things, because there are times when our largest source market is the United States, and Britain is at the second, and Canada is third, and so on. It just happens that Britain has been doing better in recent times than the United States. Although, based on all the whispers that I'm hearing about how many Barbadians out of the United States are coming home for the 50th anniversary of independence, that order, it seems, will most likely be reversed. What we've done well economically, tourism earns most of the foreign dollars that we need to sustain and to support not only the standard of living that we have earned for Barbadians, or worked to create for Barbadians, but the quality of life as well. And if you add to tourism, our international business and financial services sector, where companies redomicile, change the country from in which their headquarters are located, and headquarter their businesses in Barbados so that they can do business from Barbados, because of the stability of our country, because of the quality of our infrastructure, because of the quality of our information and communication technology, because law and order prevail in Barbados, and because of the hospitableness of our climate. Companies out of the United States, out of Canada, out of the United Kingdom, and elsewhere redomicile, decide that they're going to headquarter their businesses in Barbados and pay taxes at the rates chargeable in Barbados rather than pay them at the rates taxable in the countries from which they've come. That in itself is causing some problems nowadays. And I've had to have some words with leaders of these onshore jurisdictions, really offshore jurisdictions, because clearly, if the taxes are being paid in Barbados, and Barbados Barbados and the United States of America have what is called a double taxation agreement. You can't tax a man twice. So if the taxes are paid in Barbados are not being paid here. And therefore, when you hear the noises being made about bringing American businesses back home, that is what it is really about. All I can say to you is that I said you're ambassadors of Barbados here in the United States of America. And all I can say to you is when you hear people come around you with that talk, let them know that you have some power here too. And that, you know, I say no more. My mother used to have some words that, what she used to say? The people let me spell Dutch. But we have a very viable and very vertebrate international business and financial services sector. The legislation for that was passed even before independence by Earl Barrett in 1965. It passed the International Business Companies legislation. But it did not come to full flower. The statute didn't come to full flower until the second half of the 1970s when the world was going through some changes and businesses were looking for places to headquarter themselves. So we've done well economically. Now, like every other country in the world, we've had our challenges, particularly over the last 2 years, as a result of the global financial meltdown, which started here in the United States of America, and the effects of which are still being felt in certain parts of the world, certainly in the Eurozone and elsewhere, but being felt in the Caribbean as well. And that was not the first time that when you got up here and sneezed, that we got a cold in Barbados. It happened in the early 1990s when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait and the Gulf War happened, and the economy of the United States went into a downturn, into recession. We had to deal with that. It happened before that, in 1979, 80, when the Iranian Revolution happened, and an Islamic Republic was established after the Shah had been hunted out of Iran. And Iran withdrew from the world market 5 million barrels of oil per day, since they accounted for 10% of the world market. And the economy of the United States, the economy of Britain, and the economy of Canada went into recession, and Barbados went into recession as well. And before that, the first oil crisis in 1973, when Mr. Barrow was Prime Minister, when unemployment in Barbados reached 22.5%, and when inflation ran at a rate of 40%. So we've known difficult times. But for all of that, we have a viable economy. We're diversifying it now. I've made it very clear to my cabinet and to the country that we're not going to be caught again playing catch up over oil prices, because during this crisis, oil prices went as high as about $148 per barrel. And I do not intend that the economy of Barbados should find itself in a situation again where, when oil prices spiral upwards again, that we are caught like the 5 foolish virgins having no oil in our lamps. So we have been putting in place the infrastructure for a shift from the use of fossil fuels, oil and so on, to the use of alternative sources of energy, more particularly renewable sources of energy. Because we have sunshine, year-round. And the Master of Ceremonies gave you some indication of how old I am. And for all the years that I have never heard that anybody in Barbados had to pay for sunshine yet. We get that free. And therefore, what we are doing is effecting a quiet transition from reliance on fossil fuels to the use of solar energy as an alternative source, and of course wind energy as well, because we get wind fairly liberally in Barbados year-round as well. I always reflect that we have taken the sunshine we get in Barbados for granted over the years, and it has always been there, but we've never made effective use of it. Of course, in the 1970s, we began to produce solar water heaters, and we've done very well in that. We impacted on countries across the world with our development of solar water heaters. But we've never got to the stage where we use sunshine as a source of energy. So we're moving there. And we're also effecting a transition that will make effective use of the God-given talents of the people of Barbados. We have put in place a cultural industries bill and established a cultural industries authority, because the entertainment business is one of the most profitable businesses in the world. And there are many more Rihannas in Barbados just looking for an opportunity. And we are putting in place a legislative framework, in fact we have put it in place, that where that talent exists, that is not talent that you have to pay for. It is there, it's God-given. And we are going to make sure that people with that kind of talent can get a hand up to contribute more meaningfully, not only to the realization of their personal dreams and to the actualization of their own talents, but also to contribute to the development of Barbados. So we've succeeded economically and politically, and we've succeeded socially. Barbados has one of the best education systems in the world. We have a social safety net which is the most reliable in the entire Caribbean and in many respects most reliable in the developing world. We have a national insurance scheme. We have protection for our workers at the workplace. In fact, the government over which I preside passed an employment rights bill, Employment Rights Act, to make sure that at the workplace employers know their rights and employees know theirs too, and that there can be no exploitation, no unbridled exploitation of our workers by unscrupulous employers, and that there can be no irresponsibility at the workplace on the part of employees that undermine the objectives and the goals of the workplace. We have a good social safety net in place. We have severance payment legislation where workers, if they lose their jobs through no fault of their own, by fire or by flood or by act of God, there are mechanisms in place for their compensation for all of the years they contributed to the development of that workplace. We have free education at the nursery level, at the primary level, at the secondary level, and at the tertiary level. Recently, we had to ask our students at the university to contribute 10% towards their tuition. I mean, 20% I think it is, 20% towards their tuition costs at the university. But the university is only one of our tertiary institutions. The Barbados Community College is a tertiary institution. The Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic is a tertiary institution. And the Barbados Hospitality Institute is a tertiary institution. And education there is free. And it cannot be thought unreasonable by any thinking person if you ask students to contribute 20 cents out of every dollar that the government has to spend on university education, that you're being unreasonable. Students pay 20 cents and the government pays 80 cents. So we have succeeded socially. We have a health system that works. We have an education system that works. We have a social security system that works. And therefore, Barbados has much to celebrate after 50 years of nationhood. But I have said to the country, last independence in my message I said to the country, that over the next 50 years we have to effect that transition from nationhood to genuine independence. And what do we mean by that? Simply this, that after 50 years of nationhood, there is still a tendency among some of our people to look outside of Barbados for the standards that they want to pursue, the standards to which they want to subscribe. There's still a tendency to think that what is produced overseas is better than what is produced in Barbados. There's still a tendency to believe that the music produced outside of Barbados is superior to the one produced in Barbados. And that somehow, if it comes from over in a way, it is better than what we produce out. And you cannot really lay any legitimate claim to genuine independence if your head is still at that level. We are as good as any people, any part of the world. We've seen all this already, you know, these attempts to imbue us with a sense of our own inferiority. We've seen it over and over again. I well recall that when Sir Gary Sobers was dominating world cricket, there were commentators who used to say that his backlift was too high. Man is 150 going on 200 and they don't backlift too high. But he set his own standards and nobody has reached those standards as yet. And there are many other examples of that. As I said, we're not perfect and we have to continue to seek higher things, to strive to be better day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year.